Hello everybody, welcome back to LizLabz. Today we're going to be talking yet again, I know, probably already getting tired of it, the zombie force field. Dun dun dun. You know, I use that often, way too often inside my videos. Dun dun dun. We're actually going to be talking about how to build one specifically instead of the blocks that you can use. If you're looking for block ideas on how to create your zombie force field, in the style that you wish to create it in, I would recommend checking that previous video. As a matter of fact, if I remember to, I will link it down in the description in case you're hunting for it, or I will do the overlay that shows over there on some devices. That way all you have to do is click on there and go back and check it. So, we have already covered all of the blocks. There are many, many blocks that you can use as a zombie force field. I will yet again state a zombie force field is not necessarily going to repel the zombies. It's not going to stop the zombies from walking on it. Specifically, it will stop the zombies from pathing on it. And the reason why I say that is because, first off, if a zombie gets knocked onto the block, it is going to either, if it's one block away from, like, say, a zombie gets knocked onto this block right here, it is now only one block away, or not even one block away, from a pathable block, in which case it can easily traverse that. Now, if a zombie were to walk around over here and then look into this ditch, it's like, oh, there's nothing pathable there, I will go around. So that's the reason why I say it's not pathable by a zombie, as in the zombies do not recognize it as a path. It might as well just be a blank spot for them. There is no pathing on that particular block. And I covered lots of blocks. Hang on. We'll go take a peek. All kinds of blocks. But today we're going to get into the specifics of what you need in order to create a zombie force field and different places, different applications where you can use it, and I'm actually going to show you how to do it. First off, I have what is called the ditch. And I have some people ask me, what on earth? It's a ditch. And I call it the ditch. So it is 3 blocks deep, not counting the top block. 3 blocks, empty blocks. And then if you're going to put a floor, dig down 1 more and put another floor on it. The 3 blocks that are underneath your zombie force field block needs to be empty space. As if this block does not exist and there are 3 blocks down below it that are not there. That's kind of how the zombie brain sees it. It's like, it's not there and 3 blocks below it, I can't see another block, so now I can't path it. So, this right here is actually called, someone told me how to check this, I had no idea. Apparently if you click on this, it filters stuff. Hold on, first off let me turn off my favorites. If you click on this, it filters stuff, but if you click it again, it stops filtering for you. I did not realize this. I have never actually tried looking through this block thing without any filters on and just look at the amount of blocks that are in here. But thank you for that tip, guys. So if you click on it twice, you can actually get rid of it. The block that I was looking for is the Arch 3mm tip, which is usually found in here. I just went ahead and favored it because it's the one that I like the best, because after you line it up, it kind of looks like this. And you can put it back to back, like this. Now, actually, what I want to do is bring it here and pick those up. And then I will set it just like that, because these basically look like pathways to me. I can easily traverse these, easily upgradable. They've got a decent amount of health and everything else like that. But if you will notice, I have already spent a good amount of time digging this area out. 1, 2, 3 absolutely vacant spaces underneath each one of those sections. If I wanted to put a floor on here, and I usually do clean up the sides of the ditch after I'm done and I have nothing else to build on and I've already got my horde base done, I'll go back and line the bottom of this and I will have to dig down 1 and place in a floor. So, like I said, 3 empty spaces. Nothing else is in there. If you're unsure, just go ahead and go a 4th one down. You can't hurt by going a little bit deeper in the proper context. Let me phrase that. Wow, awkward. Anyway, you can't hurt by going 1 layer down. You can, however, make your base completely, your zombie force field completely ineffective by going 1 further up. So always 3 spots below and 3 wide. At least 3 empty spots and 3 wide. And the reason being is because that has to do with zombie pathing, meaning that they can path too wide and too deep, meaning they will jump down 2 blocks to get to you, and they will jump across 2 blocks to get to you. They won't always make it, but they will try. And usually will have some sort of success in being able to get across the gap, which is why it has to be at the least 3 and 3. If you can make it 4 and 4 or even more, you're a little bit safer. We're just going to sit here and continue putting these things back to back because, hold on, you know what, we can just do it like this. Copy rotation. And then we do it back on that one. And these are just basic blocks. And yet again, I will go ahead and spawn in a zombie and show you that it will not path this. In case you're wanting to check and you didn't watch the last video, I actually show you how to test blocks. I would definitely recommend going back to watch that. It actually fully tells you how to get into the menu and test the blocks that you may want to use for your base. See, he's not pathing across these, which I can easily path across, but he cannot. So, here, let's take you out. Okie dokie. That part is done. We have actually talked about the zombie force field before, and therefore I don't necessarily need to get too deep into the ditch. I've already done that. It's already dug. But there are other applications for this, is the reason why I bring up the ditch. First off, as shown here, you can put this around like, say you don't like to have your horde base and your basic base the same building, and you don't want to have to fight a horde. Survivor medium is complete. Okay. Say you don't want to have to fight a horde at your home base. You just want to keep the zombies off the walls. You don't want them walking by idly and smacking your blocks. You have decorations in. You don't want them messing around with your basic base. Put the ditch around your base and then put these things there. There are a lot of blocks. No matter the style of base, like I got Howard the base here. This is Howard the base. No matter the style of block that you might want to look at, there is probably a block or a group of blocks that will work for this application, and you will be able to both stop the zombies from pathing it, and it will be something you will be able to path. Say you want a specific path that your vehicle can go across, in which case blocks like these over here may not be a good idea because the wheels might get stuck inside of it. Now this is actually a set of 2 different blocks. So this concept works pretty good because even if you accidentally break one set, you still have another set keeping you up. And that is a good idea whenever you're in your 4x4 and you don't want to wind up with your 4x4 in the ditch. Not that I'm speaking from experience. This one is a 2-block thing as well. Both types of blocks are not pathable by the zombies. And they are stacked on top of each other to give you more, well, less gap in between and more hit points to keep you from accidentally hitting it, smacking it, blowing it up, running a vehicle across it. Things like this, probably not good for an area you're wanting to use specifically for your path or a vehicle's path. Now this could very well like go with the aesthetic, in which case you might use this in most of your pathway, or maybe put something like this and then every other time do something like that for decorative means. Just remember your path has got to be both useful and functional, as well as the zombie force field, so choose your blocks accordingly. If you're going to use one, make sure you can run over it without falling through, because if you do like this, and you're running from a zombie and then suddenly you forget one time and you just walk across instead of run across and you fall in and the zombie falls on top of your head, and then before you know it, your permadeath is over. Not that that's ever happened either. Okay, so yet another application for this would be how to use this between 2 buildings. And what we're going to have to do is go into town and find a couple of buildings of adequate height off the ground and a couple of windows or pathways that we might want to make in between them. Say you are doing a building area and you're actually building in the city, which is kind of crazy because there's typically still FPS drops in the city. And I know that there's going to be at least one person that says, well, actually, I'm getting 60 FPS. I don't care. There are still FPS drops in the city. It happens, guys. It's happening all the time. Just because you don't experience it does not necessarily mean some of us don't experience it. I've got a pretty decent PC and I still get FPS drops. It's not as frequent as it used to be. They just still happen. It's fine. I'm not dissing the game. I enjoy this game too. I'm not hating on it, but there are FPS issues every now and then. Where on earth could we put these that would make sense? Someplace preferably I don't have to worry about putting in supports. What on earth? No, my bike! My bike! I need that back. What the heck? Oh. I don't know if the world ate that block or if someone blew something up here. That's just wrong. Alright, let's do something about that really quick. Take that off. The occasional horde does get, you know, a little bit unruly from time to time. Okay. There's gotta be a building somewhat close. Okay, say you are playing in a group and you guys have got two buildings you're taking over, one that is preferably your horde base and one that is considered your base where you collect all of your stuff and everybody has their rooms because you're obviously role-playing in a server, correct? Yes. So, say you want to make sure that your horde base is completely isolated from this area. Now, if I was to pick two of these buildings, which one would I pick? I would probably say the more broken down one. You see this driveway. I don't know. This seems like a whole lot to have to fix if you were going to make it into a base. This seems more like a base, and this seems more like an enclosed horde base right here. Because, say, there's... I know I'm giving you some random tips that have nothing to do with zombie force fields, but the inside of this would be easier to gut and utilize the structure of it to create a horde base. So this is the one that I would pick for my horde base, and this is the one that I would pick for my base. In which case, which section would we use to put in a pathway from between? Okay, if I was going to create a horde base out of this, I would obviously be on the top floor. Just makes more sense, make the zombies run more, maybe do a few laps down at the bottom and come upstairs, you know, because obviously they get tired from time to time. No, they don't. I would probably put it from this window to that window, and we are more than 3 blocks high. Are we 3 blocks wide? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. We are just barely 3 blocks wide, so this actually works. You could put a zombie force field from one building to the other building so that you wouldn't have to worry about if, say, someone is over here fighting the horde in the fighting position and, I don't know, they run out of ammo. So they have to run back over here to the horde base, back to your base, to grab some more ammo. I woke everybody up. I'm trying to do a demonstration. Hang on. I'm not gonna cheat trying to... Whoa. I'm not gonna cheat trying to kill zombies. That's not the point in this. I'm trying to do a tutorial here. Come here, guys. You are interrupting me. What happened to the other guy? Don't you run after me. Oh, they can't get up here because of the stairwell. Okay, okay, gotcha. I don't want to go down there and take care of all of the zombies. Here, hang on, I can go invisible. That way they will just stop. I don't want to fight all of the zombies. I don't know whose area this is. This is like not far from my town, but I haven't been over this area to loot or anything, so I don't know if I would be like messing up someone's missions. I'm not at this level mission yet. This would be, okay, this is a tier 3. This is a, oddly enough, this is a remnant. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to mess up all of that. So if I was to try and say, like I was saying, if somebody's over here, they ran out of ammo, they need to run back over here to base, get some out of their box, but somehow or another their fighting position got breached. And if their fighting position gets breached, the zombies are going to use your pathway to get across. Now, there are several different ways you can do this. It's not just zombie force fields. You can go for a lot less cheese here. But you could also go for cheese. I mean, it is completely okay to go for cheese in this particular instance. If I can get the lineup correct. Here we go. Do like that, and then you've got yourself a clear pathway to run across. Now, I don't know that I would do this on a double. I mean, you could choose a different type of block depending on which one you want to use, but there's also the non-cheese method, which would be doors, which is still kind of cheese, but it's definitely doable. In this particular case, I would personally, this is just me, because I know doors can be kind of finicky on where they have their structural stability at. I always put a zombie force field type of block, which is this block, the off-center. I put it below the doors. Let's see, if you build a door, if you build it, they will come. Actually, this one would probably benefit from a double door, but we're gonna go with this one. Okay, so say I wanted to use this door to give myself a pathway. As soon as I open it, it's no longer pathable by the zombies. Actually, I think the block is on the wrong angle. It needs to be on the same level with, but holding onto the side of the door. Like this one right here. It's a lot smaller. And it probably... See? That's the reason I use these. Sometimes whenever you set them down, it's like, oh, it works. No, it doesn't. Say I wanted to do this. And set it up. Okay, we would have to actually move that. No worries, guys. I do stuff like this all the time. It's all the time. It's fine. Oh, it's actually this block that's in the way. There we go. So now it's actually sitting from one side to the other side. Now, technically, your character can traverse this tiny little pipe. Now, if you are playing on a Horde Night, you're probably not going to want to traverse a tightrope across from one side to the other side, in which case, you know, I would definitely not recommend doing that. What you could do instead is something like this, and you could still do the door thing. Just set it... I'm not even sure that it will sit like this. Will it? Yeah. Yeah, it will. I don't think you can get it set to. Holy bejeez, dude. And look at that. It's basically a drawbridge, dude. Oh, that's smooth. That's smooth. I don't usually use that block, but that's a good block for that. Because it, like... after you upgrade it and everything like that, it'll basically blend in with the door. So this is kind of a zombie force field, only in this case, if you don't open the door, the zombies can path it. So there's your no cheese version. If you wish to do a cheese version, where you don't have to worry about the door, you can pick your favorite block, whichever one it is. You could do that one, you could do these, you could do... what was some of the other ones that we came up with? These guys right here. You could do the double pole top, which is, you know, you could probably fall through that one. I wouldn't really want to use that one. So I would probably pick either the scaffolding ladder or the 3mm. How would that look on top of here? Or, well, not on top, but if we were to do, say... which orientation would work with this better? Like that. There we go. And that gives you like a full thing right there. And we can actually go, what was it, one higher? No, that's it. We would have to actually remove that piece, but that should be fine. That kind of works. That orientation would probably just wind up getting me killed. I'll be honest with you, if I was not paying attention, I would just get killed. Yeah, I'm still going back to this one. I feel like this one would be the best one. Because you're less likely to fall over it. Now, obviously, if you get to playing around, you might get... oh, dadgummit. I'll wind up going over here and waking up somebody too, but going back and forth between the buildings is a whole lot safer. You know, you could probably even put some railings, though most of the railings are pathable, so I think that would just afford the zombies a way to get to your base if you put railings on the side of it. I don't think there's a single one that's not pathable to a zombie. So that is another way you could use a zombie force field to get from your base to your horde base, wherever it's at. Howard's the duck. Say, for instance, you are wanting to do like a triple high base, you've got a battle location, a crafting location, and you want to be able to pull your vehicle where you have all your loot straight into your base. Well, you don't necessarily want to use clear pathing because the zombies will just follow you in and like steal all of your loot because that's what they do to me all the time. So if you wanted to make, say, a force field that also acts as a vehicle driveway, you can do it that way. I mean, we do have drawbridges, but of course you have to open the drawbridges, and drawbridges don't always work in every situation. And in order to get the drawbridge to open and close whenever you approach, it requires a bit of wiring. Maybe you don't necessarily like all of the wiring going on, or you don't have electricity and you don't intend to install electricity. It's a good way to do it. If you're doing, say for instance, I am coming back to my base and I've got zombies back behind me, but I need to get my vehicle over here because I need to make sure it's not being, not necessarily attacked, because oddly enough, zombies don't attack the vehicles that are warm and moving, they attack the people. So this right here would actually work as a zombie moat, and I could put them side by side and even vary up the look of it right here, which kind of looks like a driveway for a 4x4. Something like that. And as long as you've made it where there's 3 vacant spots below it, and at least 3 wide, the zombies will not be able to follow you. Now, understand, if a zombie has enough speed, if you are playing on nightmare speed or something of the like, and they are feral, there is a chance that they will overshoot, because if you've ever done a horde night and put corners inside your bases, and they just fly off the side of it, they don't have really good brakes. So if you're playing on higher speeds, I would definitely go 4 wide just to be on the safe side, because who knows, you can have an incoming horde of them and they have a hard time stopping, and one gets shoved into the middle, and before you know it, he's already passed over to you, because between him and like 3 other people that are back behind him, Looney Tunes style, boot one of them over into your property. I would definitely recommend on higher speeds or higher grouping of bad guys areas to make it a little bit wider and a little bit deeper. Now, as far as I know, those are really the only applications, and like I said, I would love to know it if you have any additional ways that you do yours. I do know that there is, I can think of one other application in the case of something like this, which is the dew collector, and it passively increases heat in your area. You cannot turn it off unless you pick it up. So one way you could handle the whole dew collector situation is to actually use it as a lure for screamers. And you could set it up where you have got a force field around it, except for in a small area. And whenever the screamer gets called in, she will be called to the thing that is creating the heat. And in that way, you could actually snipe off screamers or something like that, using it as a lure, and using the force field situation, you can control where the screamers are coming in and out. That is one extra thing I can think of. Yeah, that's basically it. Let me know, guys. I would love to know if you have additional ways of using a zombie force field. Now, like I said, it's a lot of cheese. Lots of cheese. Nacho cheese. And I did show you a way that wasn't necessarily cheese, but it does the same thing with the doors. And it's basically like a drawbridge. I mean, you could even put a drawbridge in between 2 buildings if you wanted to. Me, personally, I think that's a bit excessive, especially since they are so daggum finicky to set down. And thankfully, it's not during the day and age where it didn't actually show you which direction you were setting things down, and you just had to guess and break it, and everything else like that. It's a little bit better now. So a drawbridge is still useful, but the zombie force field is also good for areas you don't necessarily want the zombies getting into. If you guys can think of any other ways to use the zombie force field, I would love to know in the comment section. And I think up next we're going to start talking about some other cheesy blocks just for a little while, and we're going to have to talk about base building itself and which kind of blocks to use. So that is coming up in the next one, because we're actually going to have to build a base. Like I said, this is on a patron server, and if you're interested in joining a server where people get on at least once a week, because we do every single week here on the streams. If you didn't know, I also stream over on Twitch, I stream on YouTube, and it's on the VODs channel, More to Me for Life VODs. You can check that out. So if you're interested, become a member, become a patron, and join up in the Discord. Make sure you join up in the Discord if you choose to do one of those things, because that is like the best way to get in touch with everybody, to get access to all of the things that Patreon and membership offers, is to get into the Discord. If you're uncomfortable with doing the Discord, I wouldn't necessarily recommend becoming a patron, just because I do put content there, but it's more accessible in the Discord in that section, and I talk more often there than I do on the patron page itself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the day. If you could come up with some other ways of using this particular thing, the zombie force field, I would love to know about it. There are people who use it around their base. They use it around certain sections of their horde base. They use it around, like, say, these guys right here just to keep them safe. They use them around their garden plots to keep those safe. They use them as pathways between two different buildings. And that's a lot of different stuff. And they use them as like the dry way into their base so that they don't have to use the drawbridge. So guys, I would love to know if you have any additional ways of using this particular item. It's really, really cool. And I will see you guys back next week. I will see you then. You have a wonderful day, night, and you stay shiny. Bye!